Hello and welcome to the channel. Before we get into the video, I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of my members whose names are on the screen right now. So thank you so much for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. And being a member doesn't come with just a shout out. It can come with just a shout out if you get that particular tier. However, I also have two additional tiers, one of which will include a live stream every other week, and on the final tier you get the shout out, the live stream, and on the weeks where there is no live stream I will upload a members only video. And that is kind of a bit of everything. Sometimes it's a recipe, and at the moment it's a lot of get ready with me and I tell you about my dating life. But if you are curious to see more personal videos, I usually create that sort of content for my members. But thank you all so much for your ongoing support. It does mean the world to me. And let's get into the video. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ilona. I'm also known as Chikara Transformations. I'm an online health and fitness coach, and I'm also a bodybuilder. And today we're gonna look at HannahTalksBodies. Is that her name? Hannah Fullendorf. She's a body positivity, health and exercise, fat liberation and health justice person, educator and counselor. I've seen her before in different TikToks, and I found her handle and I figured why not look at some of her TikToks and see if there's anything I agree with, disagree with, basically go from there. So I'm probably going to pick ones that have like a lot of views. So there's one here that's got like 1 million views, so I think that's a good starting point. So let me move over. Let's have a little gander, shall we?
I've talked before on this page about how I have severe chronic back pain that I've had since I was like 5 years old. And I have done everything imaginable to try to fix this, including having a breast reduction. Now, that might be hard to believe given that I currently have huge boobs, but believe it or not, 6 years ago, I did in fact undergo a breast reduction.
So when she had that breast reduction, did she gain body weight since then? Because breast tissue is basically fat. This is why pretty much every single woman in fitness, not every single, but a lot of women in fitness have implants, because when you get low in body fat, your boobs go. Usually speaking, if you drop body fat, your boobs is one of the first places it goes. I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. If you have big boobies whilst lean, I've never seen it, not naturally anyway. So I don't know if she had a breast reduction and then basically gained those weight and the fat just grew back. But yeah, no, it is apparently if you have back problems, being big boobed, having big boobies doesn't help with that.
When I had my first appointment with my surgeon, she asked me what size I wanted my breasts to be, and I told her that I wanted C cups, which was a significant reduction. And she was very surprised by this. She said, "Oh no, that's way too small. Given your weight, that won't look good on you." And I told her,
oh, so she was big at the time when she had it. Daisy! So she was big at the time when she had it. My breasts are in C cup, but I do want to get bigger implants at some point. I don't know when, because it's not necessarily a priority. But I feel like for my frame, they could do with being a little bit bigger. Cat hair. Go everywhere, don't they, little cat hairs?
"I don't care. I'm trying to alleviate my back pain." And she sort of let it go for the time being. Then, on the morning of my surgery, she was taking care of all the final details before I got wheeled into the operating room, and she asked me again to confirm what size I wanted, and I told her again, C cups. And she
Definitely not sporting C cups on her chest now, though.
She literally responded the exact same way she did before, as if that conversation never happened. She dove into her whole diatribe about how it wouldn't look proportional and it wouldn't be attractive, and again I told her, "I don't care, that's not why I'm doing this." So anyway, when I woke up from surgery, I had double D's.
I'm not being funny, but that is messed up. Like, that is messed up. Like, whether or not somebody thinks that if you're paying somebody to do something to your body, like an operation, if I go into a doctor and I say I want D cups and I'm paying for D cup implants, and he's going to give me B cups because he thinks it would look nicer on my frame, or he'll give me E cups because he thinks it looks nicer on my frame, that is literally unacceptable. if she went in saying that she wanted a C cup and she ended up with double D's, that is unacceptable. Because that's not what she wanted. That's not what she asked for. So that's like... Oh, but then I suppose, as a surgeon, do you not... Like, I guess, thinking about it, like, I can totally see it from her perspective, but from the perspective of the surgeon, it's kind of like your portfolio, isn't it? So, for example, there's a girl that I follow on Instagram, and I kind of feel sorry for her. No, I do feel sorry for her. She has just the worst filler and like Botox and all of that, and it's like every time I look at her, I'm just like, what have you done to your face? Like, why? Like, you know, it's not, you know, what, some people just have too much of it, and it just doesn't look quite like this. Looks, it kind of looks botched, to be honest. I don't know if it is or not. If it is, that's like really sad, but it kind of looks botched. My point with this is that if I was a cosmetologist or whatever you call it, somebody that did Botox and fillers, I would not be putting more into her face, because it's my work then, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't, if I think as somebody that does alter somebody's physical appearance, you do need to take into consideration that you know better, you know what looks good because it's your job. It's like, for example, with tattoos. If you get a tattoo done, and for example, you go and you say, I want like this tiny little tattoo here, but you want it really detailed, a good tattoo artist will tell you, you can't have something small and that's the details. You know, that I need to either blow it up or you need to simplify the design, because it's just going to turn into a black blob otherwise, or whatever color you're going for. Or with certain placements, they may say like, oh, I want this here, but as a tattoo artist, you should know it's going to look better somewhere else. And I think if you take your trade seriously, then really what this doctor should have done is they should have just not operated on her. They should have just refused the operation. They should not have done what they think is best, but they should have just flat out refused it, I think. Yeah. But yeah, this is messed up though, if you pay for it. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to have like a certain tattoo here, and you're willing to pay for it, and you're willing to accept the fact that it's going to look like shit, then that's your money at the end of the day, isn't it?
Because my pain and my health were not as important to this doctor as my attractiveness. Story time. I've talked before on the...
Alright, so we've got a video here that's half, where did I see it? 500,000? Almost 500,000.
Oh, what's this? A comprehensive long-term...
Healthy lifestyle habits and mortality in overweight and obese individuals. So let's do something a bit different and actually get this study up. Alright, so I found the study here on PubMed. Let's look at the abstract before we get into her video, so we can go into it with a different, potentially a different, that's not what I was going to say. So we can go into it fully understanding what the study is about, because I'm fairly sure she's probably going to like cherry pick data, because, you know, that's what we do here. So the background is, though the benefits of healthy lifestyle choices are well established among the general population, less is known about how developing and adhering to healthy lifestyle habits benefit obese versus normal weight or overweight individuals. The purpose of the study was to determine the association between healthy lifestyle habits, eating 5 or more fruits and vegetables daily, exercising regularly, consuming alcohol in moderation, and not smoking, and the mortality in a large population-based sample stratified by body mass index. For the methods, we examined the association between healthy lifestyle habits and mortality in a sample of 11,761 men and women from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey 3. Subjects were ages 21 and older and fell at various points along the BMI scale, from normal weight to obese. Subjects enrolled between October 1988 and October 1994, and were followed an average of 170 months. So the results: after a multivariable adjustment for age, sex, education, race, and marital status, the hazard ratios 95 CLs for all-cause mortality for individuals were adhered to. 0, 1, 2, 3 healthy habits were 3.257, 2.59, and 1.74 and 1.29, respectively, relative to the individuals who adhered to all 4 healthy habits. When stratified into normal weight, overweight, and obese groups, all groups benefited from the adoption of healthy habits, with the greatest benefit seen within the obese groups. Healthy lifestyle habits are associated with a significant decrease in mortality regardless of a baseline body mass index. So basically, what this study found, which is like pretty common sense, is that leading a healthy lifestyle decreases mortality. So don't drink so much, don't smoke, eat whole foods, and exercise. And apparently that can improve duration of life and obviously quality of life too. Who would have thought? Even in obese people. And they benefited the most from it, which makes sense because they are the unhealthiest out of this particular group of people. So let's see what she has to say about it.
Oh, what's this? A comprehensive long-term study with excellent methodology about the relationship between weight, behaviors, and health? Let's talk about it. In this study, researchers looked at 11,761 cisgendered men and women of varying ages, races, and weights. They asked the subjects to engage in some combination of 4 different health-promoting behaviors, and the health of the subjects was tracked for an average of 170 months, which is about 14 years of data collected per person. The 4 health-promoting behaviors were 5 or more servings of fruits and veggies per day, exercising more than 12 times per month, limiting alcohol up to 1 drink per day for cis women and up to 2 drinks per day for cis men, and not smoking at all. And just want to point out that these are not healthy habits for everyone. I have chronic pain, and exercising 12 times per month would be excruciating.
I'm fairly sure that her chronic pain could be managed through weight loss to some degree, because obviously being heavy does put a lot of pressure on the body, on the joints. Additionally, usually speaking, doing some exercise, I'm not saying like go off and do like 1 rep max deadlifts, but keeping active and especially incorporating things like stretching and stuff can be very beneficial for pain. Like, I don't know what her pain is, and like I am not a doctor, so I could be wrong on that, but usually speaking, well, Rosie's thirsty. Usually speaking, exercise can alleviate pain, and you know, obviously dropping body fat helps with that as well.
Or also, there are people with digestive diseases for whom eating 5 servings of fruits and veggies per day would cause a lot of damage. So these are very general concepts. Now let's get to those results. On this graph, the vertical axis is health hazards. So the taller the bar, the more health risks there are. And then the horizontal axis is how many of the 4 behaviors were adopted. And you can see here that the participants were divided into 3 categories based on their BMI. Now, BMI is trash, but since that's what they use, those are the words we have to use in order to...
BMI is not trash. It's literally a very simple mathematical formula to work out whether or not you're more likely to have excess body fat. Granted, people are outliers, and it does happen. However, if you're not like a mass monster, if you're not super muscular, it applies to you, and often it is taken into conjunction with the hip to waist ratio. So if your hip to waist ratio is bad and you have a high BMI, you have too much body fat. On BMI, by the way, yesterday I did 2 days ago I filmed a video about Young Dumb Honey Bun that went up yesterday, so I don't know when you guys are seeing this, but I was saying that I think she's overweight, if not obese, as per BMI. And I know that some people are a little bit sensitive about the fact that I called her skinny fat, or that I said she's overweight. She is overweight. Like, that's not me being horrible, that's not me body shaming, that's not me being nasty. Per BMI, she is overweight. So let's do that quickly. Actually, I looked in the Young Dumb Honey Bun subreddit. I don't normally, but it was I didn't know. I don't really look on there. I don't normally look on there, but I did look on it after my video, and because it was posted obviously on farms where I do look on a regular basis. So she is 5'3", and she weighs 158 pounds as per her nutrition's recommendations to eat around 2,200 calories a day to maintain her weight. Young Dumb Honey Bun is about 4 inches shorter than me and weighs pretty much the same. So just to put that into perspective, her BMI is actually 28. If it was 30, she would be considered obese. So when I was saying like I think she's overweight, verging on obese, I wasn't far off. She is almost considered obese as per BMI. And it's kind of sad that in this day and age that somebody like her, but like I'm not saying she has a terrible body or anything, like it's not something I find attractive in a woman. I like my women to be more fit, like that's just a personal preference. But it's kind of sad that we're living now in a day and age where people see women like Young Dumb Honey Bun as normal, when actually this is not normal, this is overweight. What would be normal is for her to be like, at her height, if she's like 72 kilos, she should be probably like 63 kilos. That's probably a normal weight for somebody her height. So, you know, just because it's become normal to be overweight, that doesn't mean it should be, if that makes sense, or that it is healthy. But yeah, basically she's overweight per BMI, like I was saying. Anyway, that's not like, I don't know why people get so triggered by that term. It's just the way it is. I'm overweight by BMI. Just I'm overweight. But yeah, per BMI I am technically overweight. Just
to talk about this study. So the lightest colored bar represents people in the quote normal weight category. The middle bar is people in the quote overweight category. And then the darkest bar is for people in the quote obese category. So you can see here in this first section where none of the health promoting behaviors are being utilized that there was a big difference in health hazards between the three weight categories. And to be clear, that doesn't mean that weight is causing that difference.
It probably is though, isn't it? But no, they're saying that like it's just behaviors and habits that people have. So they're probably saying that when they're overweight, they're probably doing. Oh no, the habits is on the other line. So I guess what they're saying here is the hazard ratio is just increased, but that is because of the weight though. But obviously there is lifestyle factors that come with people being overweight, which is causing the obesity.
That difference can also be caused by the fact that fat people are denied medical care or receive far worse care when we do get medical care, or the fact that fat people experience immense stress from all the stigma and prejudice we face. Regardless, what you can see here is that after only one health promoting behavior is adopted, the health risks both dropped and compressed between all of the BMI categories dramatically. And by the time we get to all four health promoting behaviors, not only are the health risks extremely low for everyone, but there is virtually no difference in the health risks between all three different weight categories.
So what is she going to try and say that basically you can be overweight and healthy? Is this the argument? But that still doesn't make sense. This is just a reduction of risks. And that is that it can improve mortality. That makes sense, but it doesn't say that you're just as healthy as somebody that is a healthy BMI. That's not what this is saying. It just shows that there's a reduction of risks moving forward if you adopt healthy lifestyle factors, habits.
Despite the fact that the weight of the participants did not change. Weight is a terrible predictor of health.
But how does she know that as well, though? She doesn't know if the weight didn't change. It just says that the BMI is over 30. But a BMI of over 30, there's a lot of variables. So how does she know that in this in the four habits that the people that adopted all of these healthy habits over a period of 14 years that they didn't lose any weight? She doesn't know that. Nobody knows that. Unless there's a breakdown in this study where they basically say like, oh well, all of these people had a BMI of 50. They stayed a BMI of 50. They lived for an extra 14 years. And then their their overall health risk reduced. I was trying to perform a sentence and it wasn't performing properly. This is not what this is saying. It's just saying that if you adopt 4 health risks, if you adopt 4 healthy lifestyle habits, that basically you're gonna improve your quality of life and your mortality. But that makes sense. But it doesn't say anywhere that they didn't lose any weight in the process of doing so. More likely than not, most of these people did lose weight in the process of doing so. Therefore, improving their quality of life, therefore reducing their risk for sickness and disease, therefore improving their mortality rates. I don't know that. I just assume that that's the way it is. But I don't know where she's getting it from that they didn't lose weight. It literally doesn't say that anywhere. Unless it's in the study, and I don't know because I didn't read the study. So it's possible that it is in the study. Right. Let's do another one. Got some time. Got some time still. Fucking hell, she does a lot of these. Alright. 273,000. That's a good one. Let's look at that, shall we?
Is the idea that fat people are promoting obesity is the idea.
Alright, sorry, it takes a little while for these TikToks to load, I don't know what it is, so let's have a look at this one, shall we?
That fat people are promoting obesity is nonsense. Promoting obesity is not a real thing and it never has been.
I don't think all obese people promote obesity. I think it's people within the health and exercise and body positivity movement and the fat liberation movement that promote obesity.
There are no multi-million-dollar marketing campaigns telling thin people to get fat quick.
But they are so maybe not marketing companies, but there is a whole area within social media. Do you call social media? It is social media, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a market, maybe? It's not really the word I'm looking for either, but basically there is a huge online presence with people that are basically science denying that obesity is bad for your health, and that people should just be big and not worry about it, and that you know, it's no biggie basically, when it is a problem. It's you know, people are dying young, people are infertile, people are a cost to society. It's, you know, it's just not good to be enormously overweight, unfortunately, just as it's not good to be very malnourished.
Or a $72.7 billion weight gain industry in the United States alone. Or government-funded initiatives aimed at eliminating the existence of thin people. Or messages to...
What's this? Sorry. Or government-funded initiatives aimed at eliminating the existence of thin people. Is this like an evacuator situation? If you know, you know. Is this like that? Did she use the wrong word? Eliminating. Eliminating is like basically removing from this earth. Yeah, no, I don't. I think she's not really. I don't think there is an incentive from governments to try and off big people. If anything, I think there's incentives to keep people big and unhealthy. That's what I think. But yeah, eliminating is a serious word, isn't it?
Aimed at eliminating the existence of thin people, or messages to thin people that if they can never be fat, then their life isn't worth living. But all of those things do exist in reverse for fat people. The entire concept of promoting obesity is a myth that's used to silence fat people when we advocate for the basic human rights we're so often denied, like equal access to health insurance, life insurance, medical care, employment, education, travel, clothing, or just basic happiness and freedom from living in shame and abuse.
But you only live in shame because you are choosing to live in shame at the end of the day. And if you don't, like, I don't know, the way I say it is like, if you stand out, then people are gonna look. If you don't want to be different, like, I'm not saying that people should have opinions and judge, but they just do. So you have to either accept that you are different and that you are bigger or whatever it is, and people are going to have opinions and not like it, or you do something about it. It doesn't. Society is like, it's not right. I agree with it, but it's just one of those things. If you're different and you don't fit into whatever the norm is, then just accept that it is like that and be okay with that, or do something about it. Like, as many of you know, I live in Bulgaria, and there is, even though I'm in Sunny Beach, which is very touristy in the summer, in the winter there is no white people here, if you like, Westerners, Western Europeans. I know technically Bulgarians are white, but it's people like me, like blonde haired, blue eyed. You just don't see them in winter, basically. So I get looked at a lot. I get stared at a lot, to a point where sometimes I'm on the verge of asking people if they would like to take a picture of me, you know. But it's fine. At the end of the day, I think a lot of it is just curiosity, because I'm different, I'm muscular, I'm tall, I'm tattooed. People are gonna look. So some people look at me in disgust, some people look at me in fascination, some people just want to have a chat, and all of that is fine. Like, I don't really care. But if you're making, I think it's just that people, I just don't understand why so many people are worried about opinions of others. Now, I guess when it comes down to racism and discrimination, it's slightly different. And I do think that obese people experience discrimination, for sure. But I think a lot of it is also, they're trying to find problems where there is no problem. So they're trying to turn things into discrimination, or trying to compare it to something like racism, when it's not really like that. Not quite. But please, My point is that it's unfortunate, but that it's human nature. People are judgy. It's just the way it is.
The only things we are promoting are kindness, respect, and equality. Fat people.
Kindness as long as you fit in with their views, though. If you don't fit in with their views, then they're not so kind.
People have always deserved equal rights and ethical treatment. The only difference is that now we're saying that out loud. The idea that fat...
Okay, well, let's do one more. I'm feeling generous. One more. Let's see what other one I can find that's got a lot of views. Alright, let's look at blood pressure cuff sizes. So this one has had 350,000 views.
Let's talk about blood pressure cuff sizes, because this is important information everyone should know. When healthcare providers use a blood pressure cuff that's too small, either because they don't know any better or because their practice chooses not to stock big enough cuffs, it will always result in a false high reading. And fat people have our blood pressure taken with cuffs that are too small all the time.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's just a case of whether they're refusing to stock larger, but like, first of all, to what size do they go up to? And second of all, like, how expensive are they? Is it one of those things where if you order outside a certain size, it's really expensive to manufacture? So then in order to stock it, you're catering to a very small minority of your patients. Well, granted, they probably should have it, but then you also have to think, it's like, would you invest a lot of money into a blood pressure cuff that fits certain arms, when you only have, like, I don't know, 3 patients in your whole clinic that are that big? I don't know.
Which means that fat people are frequently misdiagnosed with hypertension and then put on medication to lower our blood pressure, which is super dangerous if you don't actually have high blood pressure. So my husband Chris, who's an
Yeah, that is right. You shouldn't be put on medication if you don't have high blood pressure. And I think a lot of high blood pressure, a lot of it can be managed through diet as well, especially sodium intake. So a lot of that ties back into like eating fast food and eating unhealthy. So I don't know. But I guess the problem with that is then people that are over a certain weight, getting them to eat healthy and adhere to some sort of diet plan is very difficult, because it just people have to rely on like willpower and drive and motivation, and not everybody has that. So I guess it's just easier to medicate.
EMT is going to explain how a blood pressure cuff should fit and when to ask for a larger size.
So this is a normal blood pressure cuff. On the inside, you're going to see a range marking anywhere from about 25 to 40 centimeters, somewhere in there. On the outer edge, you'll have a little white.
Like 40 centimeters is not that big. Like the last time I measured my biceps, which is a while ago, to be honest, I had like 36 centimeters. That's flexed. So like 40 centimeters. There's only like another 4 centimeters on that. That's not that much. Maybe they're a bit bigger now. I don't know. Probably not actually, because I don't train my arms anymore. I'm not allowed to grow any more arms. I'm too muscular on my upper body for my class.
Line right here, that's going to line up somewhere in that range when you Velcro it. If that white line stays inside that range when you Velcro it, for example right here, that means it's going to fit normally. If it is outside of that range, that means it's too tight or too small, and it's not going to give an accurate reading. So if you see that white line going outside of this range at the clinic, make sure to ask for a larger cuff size.
That's actually really interesting. I didn't know that, and that's definitely good to know. So there we go. We learned something today. And I don't always agree with these videos, but that was very interesting, and I am glad that I learned that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, on that note, I think I'm going to end the video here, because it's probably about half an hour now, which I think is just the right time for a reaction. And I need to make myself some breakfast. So, insert A. What kind of emoji shall they do? Kitty? 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 What emoji are they gonna do? Violet? Is there a little violet emoji? Do they exist? Is there little violet emojis? Little violet flowers? If a violet flower emoji exists, do one of those. If not, just any flower emoji will do. Comment, like, subscribe, dislike the video if you disliked it. Let me know down below why. And yeah, I will see you in the next video. Have a good one. No, not the hair. This is not a toy for you. Ow. Ow. Okay, bye. Bye.